Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shakespeare's podcast. Hi, how are you? It's been a while. So you're wondering why am I doing this podcast episode on this person? Main reason why is one, I had binged listened to quite a lot of true crime podcast episodes of now turning into one of my favorite podcasts, My Favorite Murder, by Karen Kilgriff and Georgina Hardstark. Sorry, my watch keeps beeping because people keep texting me. Goodness me, when you Snapchat, stop. I'm putting you on mute. No, that's the wrong thing. Oops. So basically, great start, Shalane. Great start. Basically, I binge listened to a couple of their podcast episodes because I had just downloaded one, and it was when they were back in 2018 when they were in Vickers Street in Dublin with their podcast, doing a live broadcast recorded, and I just listened to that because they just told two stories about two Irish people murdered cases, which sounds a bit weird to think about people actually come to shows and listen to them, but you know what, we're nosy people, and it's true, isn't it? We are nosy people. But look, what happened obviously was misfortunate and tragic in circumstances, but we do like a good story. I guess we are the nation of storytellers, and this is about obviously Sophie I nearly had it. Sophie Toscan du Plantier. There we go. It's gonna take me a while to say it, but I'm just gonna go with this by calling her Sophie. And the reason why we're gonna talk about this one is because I binge watched the show on Netflix, which is Sophie, a Murder in West Cork on Netflix, which came out on the 30th of June this year of 2021. Which stars Ian Bailey, Barry Roach, and Eugene Gillian, and the family of Sophie. And just basically talk about the case, really, of Sophie. What was she like before, and what happened afterwards. And which obviously was tragic because this was the story of Sophie passing away. And with that, we're just going to start it off with this. And just a warning, if you're not comfortable in listening to a murder case, that is absolutely fine. You don't have to listen to it. You can stop here right now and say, see you later. I would totally understand, but this happened, and it happened. Sophie was born on the 20th of July in 1957 in Paris, France. She was a television producer. She was married previously before she was married to her current husband, who was Daniel Toscan du Plantier, and had a son from her first marriage, Pierre. I'm so bad, sorry. She had visited Ireland several times as a teenager and bought a Schull cottage in 1993 as a holiday home, which she was a regular visitor with her son, and locals knew her by her maiden name. The cottage was in a remote part of West Cork of the town of Schull, and she arrived alone in Ireland on the 20th of December in 1966 with the plans to return to Paris for Christmas. On December 23rd in 1996, the badly beaten body of Sophie was found in her nightgowns close to her holiday home by her neighbour Shirley Foster. On the 11th of January in 1997, Schull resident Marie Farrell was used a public phone box to call Bandon Garda police station using the alias name of Fiona. She says she saw a man at Kilfada Bridge at around 3 o'clock in the morning on the night Sophie was murdered. Following two more calls to the Gardaí, Farrell's identification was revealed to the police because she rang the third time through her own house landline, which they were able to trace back to her. On February 4th in 1997, schoolboy Malasey Reid, is that how you say his name, tells police that Ian Bailey gave him a lift home and told him that he killed Sophie. Ian Bailey was arrested on the 10th of February in 97 at his home for Sophie's murder. He was later released on charge. Ian Bailey, now, this is a man that has been accused of murdering Sophie. He was born in Manchester in England. He worked variously as a freelance journalist, sometimes published under the name Owen Bailey. He was also a fish farm worker and held a market stall at the Schull, selling pizzas and poems. He moved to Ireland in 91 and lived with his partner Jules Thomas in Schull from 92 onwards. Bailey was known to the local Gardaí from previous incidents of domestic abuse or violence towards Thomas, who is his partner, and resulted in her being in hospital. In 2001, he was convicted of assault in Skibbereen District Court for this, and under liberating effects of alcohol, he had the tendency to become violent and failed his libel case, and the judge stated that Mr. Bailey is a man who likes a certain amount of notoriety and that he likes perhaps to be the limelight and likes to think he's a bit of self-publicity. Bailey denies knowing the victim, and while witnesses say that Martin Graham has maintained that the Gardaí bribed him using cannabis to make him statements that Bailey previously knew Sophie. Another witness, Leo Bolger, had the most sophisticated cannabis farm ever seen in West Cork, and after making a statement linking the Bailey to Sophie, that his sentence was suspended. Bailey was informed of the murder at 1:40 p.m. by an Irish Examiner reporter, Eddie Cassidy. He denies telling Bailey that the woman was French, as he did not know this information at the stage. Several witnesses reportedly told by Bailey before noon that he was reporting on a murder case of a French woman. Another 3 witnesses stated that they offered crime scene photographs at 11 o'clock in the morning. Under investigation, he continued to write news articles alleging the victim had multiple male companions and steering suspicion for the murder away from the West Cork towards France, which also included an article of her husband, who was Daniel. And Daniel was a film producer in France. I think he's very successful. Daniel also didn't come over to Ireland to identify Sophie's body. He told Sophie's family that they had to do it, and he did not come over at all to see Sophie or the crime scene or anything like that. So that's why I guess Bailey pointed the finger back at France. A few days later, after the investigation was beginning, Bailey was noted to have multiple scratches to his forearms as well as an injury on his forehead. He claims that it was due to cutting down a Christmas tree on the morning of the 22nd. Investigators could not reproduce these injuries while cutting down trees, and a witness said on the evening of the 22nd, before the murder, when they were out with Bailey for a drink, they did not recall any of these injuries. Bailey and his partner Jules gave conflicting accounts of where he was that night. They both claimed that they were both in bed that night. But here's the thing. Thomas subsequently retracted the account and said that he actually got out of bed at 10 o'clock. They went to bed at 10 o'clock and he got out of bed, which she did not see him till 9 o'clock in the morning, and also with a new injury on his forehead. Bailey then changed his story and said he got up at 4 a.m. writing an article for 30 minutes and returned to bed. Along with that, as I said, the 14-year-old then claimed that he said that he murdered Sophie. An inquest happened in the 17th of April in 97. Sophie died from multiple injuries, including brain injuries, so that was claimed. And December 18th in 97, it reported that a series of requests from Sophie's family for information of her murder file had been ignored and was denied by the Irish Minister of Justice. He confirms that he received a request from the French authorities in April for mutual assistance in solving the case. In January 27th in 1998, Ian Bailey was arrested for the second time, questioned and released without charge once again. In March 1999, Guy Gerard told Gardaí that Sophie had told him on December 96 that she had a friend in Ireland called Ian Bailey who was exploring these themes of violence in his writing. But also, according to Sophie's family, she had been asking friends and family to come to Ireland with her, which is also kind of worrying. Alright, I couldn't get my recording button work. Oh my god. So in 2000, in the 22nd of September, Jules Thomas, with whom Ian Bailey lives, is arrested for the second time and questioned about the murder. Her daughter, Fenella, was also arrested and questioned, but released without charge. On the 18th of August in 2001, Bailey's assaulted Jules at their home and was arrested at Cork Airport. He was charged and prosecuted for receiving a 3-month suspended sentence. He admits it to the third time he assaulted her. In January 2002, following a report in November 2001 criticising the Gardaí investigation against Bailey, the Commissioner Pat Byrne appoints a review team to examine the investigation. Sophie's parents and son began a civil action against Ian Bailey for the wrongful death of Sophie on 2002 on the 19th of December. December 2003, Ian Bailey begins a libel action against 8 newspapers who have linked him to Sophie's murder. He loses 6 of the actions but wins against 2 newspapers. Maurice Farrell, among the witnesses who testify, she confirms that she saw Ian Bailey at Cafada Bridge on that night of the murder. In 2004, Ian Bailey takes and threatens legal action against Marie Farrell for she does not withdraw her comments about him that she made about media case about him in 2003. She refuses. And then in 2005, Ian Bailey's solicitor Frank Baltimore says he was contacted by Marie Farrell, who said she was coerced by the police by making a false statement, and she now takes can't. Basically, she just pulls out her evidence and says that she saw him on the bridge was fake. In 2007, this is there. I swear, it's every year there's something going on about this case. Basically, we'll just jump forward a couple of years. We'll go to so 2019, June 21st, the French authority issues a European arrest warrant for Ian to go to France. On the 12th of October, Ireland's High Court rules that Ian Bailey will not be extradited. Later in October, the Irish state decides not to appeal the High Court finding and ending all attempts to extradite Bailey to France. So basically, they're saying Ian is a free man and he won't be going to France. But in France, when they did go to court in 2019, he would have been facing a prison sentence of 25 years, which now wasn't going to happen. Just thinking about this now, I'm not going to put my personal opinion in it, but so Ian Bailey's house from Sophie's house is 3 miles between each other, and that's not too far of a walk if he was the person who murdered her. Also, there's an article as in the 1st of August about Sophie's case on the Irish Independent Daily by Meav Sheehan, saying that the Gardaí have asked the French authorities to help the investigation of a potential new lead in the murder of Sophie. The information was passed to Gardaí by Oscar-nominated film director Jim Sheridan, who made The Murder at the Cottage, the search for justice for Sophie, which was one out of the 2 recently released documentaries about Sophie. It was information coming from Marie Farrell, a former Schull shopkeeper, which I've mentioned. I can't read the rest of the article because you have to pay. So that's all the information I can get from that. But crazy thing was, Sinead O'Connor met Ian Bailey, which was very random. So if we all know about Sinead O'Connor, she's a singer. Apparently, says no lawyer. Oh, this is Sinead O'Connor. Okay. So it says no lawyer I've ever hired would put me in a witness box. If anyone knows about being the worst witness for oneself, it's me. Truly, so I'm fascinated by other people who are terrible witnesses for themselves, and Ian Bailey wins a prize in that category. Perhaps he comes one second to a drug-fueled James Brown, interviewed on CNN, after his televised police car chase after Georgia and South Carolina. I often wondered if Bailey's not exactly a man of the year persona, coupled with his colossal selfishness and immeasurable arrogance, his daily habit of telling little lies, and the point he's nasty when drunk. It has made it easy for him to be painted as a murderer for the 25 years. He denies killing Sophie and tweets about avoiding froggies, which Bantry Market. He gives an interview clearly decided to disrespect his ex Jules Thomas and about many ladies with big bosoms. Contacting him now, he's single. Right. No. And then there was another article by the Irish Independent saying the Gardaí Commissioner this was June 25th this year, Drew Harris, has considered a request from Ian Bailey to review the case file in the murder of Sophie almost 25 years ago. However, Gardaí spokesman rejected the suggestion that a formal commitment to conduct such a major review in one of the most Ireland's notorious unsolved crimes has given. Just to clarify, when Sophie died, she was age 39, which is still young, and it's unfortunate. Like I said, it's unfortunate. 25 years on this case, it's the same age as me. 25. I'm 25. I was born in 96. I was born in April, and this happened in December. So, this I've always heard about this case, since a young age, or I've heard on the radio, from media about. I think, from what I said there, but the timeline, there's something going on every single year, about this. The French have claimed that Ian Bailey is guilty, and then it looked clearly that he was the person that, what I'm not saying, but it was pointing the finger that he did kill Sophie, by the Gardaí, and then with the witness saying that she saw him on the bridge, which now claims to be falsely not real. You kind of wonder who's telling the truth. Also, the gate, there was a gate, so a bit of her bloodstains were on the gate, went missing also in evidence. It was in custody of the Gardaí and it went missing. How that went missing, who knows? But to think Sophie was lured out of her house, because when the Gardaí came, her house was spotlessly clean. No, it didn't show that anyone barged in the house. Her keys of the door was for the house, and all of the keys she had was still in the door. So it looked like she obviously got her wellies on, went out to see what happened. Did someone lure her out? Did she see someone outside? Did someone spook her, and that's why she thought maybe it was a good idea to go outside to shout? Maybe, I don't know. But it led her to be brutally murdered and beaten so severely that they couldn't identify her properly by her, like her neighbor couldn't identify her, which is really unfortunate. And I mean, another question is, why? What did she do? Who in the right mind would kill someone that was only visiting Ireland? Also, did they think if they knew her or recognized her, maybe, did they think they would become well known for this? Because let's be fair, many cases of people who have been known as murderers, for example, let's go with one of the most notorious ones in the United States. What I meant was like the Night Stalker in California, the Hillside Strangler, and then of course in England with Dennis. Sorry for the typing. I need to get his surname right. Dennis Nilsson. Like those murderers, once they got arrested and they went to court and their name was sprung out, like they wanted more attention than they were getting, which is insane. I shouldn't say insane, that's not appropriate, sorry. What I mean is, these people took innocent lives, which was tragic and unfortunate. And I think it was okay. It's not, and these poor people should be remembered. And with Sophie, she should be remembered the way she was a talented producer on TV, and a fantastic mother and family and family member and friend, and not be the person that she was brutally murdered by an unknown person. And to now 25 years to think that it's still unsolved is frustrating, not just for her family but for the people of Schull. Like, they have 25 years of this, I think everyone wants to know who it really was, and to have the closed case properly would be a closure for people, I'd say. And these things are hard for everyone's reactions is different. Sophie's family were heartbroken and devastated and mourned for her. Like, I mean, I think a lot of people would be the same, and then it took a year maybe to accept that, right, they think they know this person is the murderer, they're gonna go after him. But also I think it was poor on the Gardaí side, because they didn't carry out the right investigation for this. And I was kind of figuring that out because, one, I was watching another shocker, another true crime, which was the Whitegate murders, which happened in England, and the only reason why I mentioned that one is because, is it Whitegate? Is that the right? No, it's a Whitegate farm, isn't it? That is, yes, it is. The Whitegate farm murders. It was because of a lower detective sergeant, I think that's what they call him in England, thought the way it was being treated, written or investigated by the head was wrong, and they weren't looking into it. They were saying it was a murder suicide. It was a murder. How do I call it? Murder. It was a murder because it was son Jeremy Barber killed his parents, his sister, and his two nephews. Oh my god, he's still alive. I just seen it. He's still alive. Oh jeez. Oh, ew. Oh, anyway, it's kind of fucked up. That one. Oh god. Anyway, I went off trail. Sorry. I think it's I think for everyone, and I think with this new documentary of it on Netflix, I mean, I've been seeing tweets. People have made their decision from watching it. They know in their own minds that, not me, I'm saying everyone else who have tweeted their allegations of it, that they think Ian Bailey has done it, and should be. But then they're also criticising the Gardaí, and I would agree, because the way they went through this is not the best. And to be fair, I can, in a way, it was one. The Gardaí there from Schull never had this kind of involvement of a murder case. 2, they had to wait for 28 hours for someone from Dublin Gardaí to come to Cork to check and investigate Sophie's body and how she got murdered, because they didn't have anyone in Cork at this time to do that, obviously. And now, clearly, from 25 years ago to now, we have more equipment and ways of figuring out how people have been murdered and their time of death and all this technology with DNA and all this kind of stuff. So like back then it was only fingerprinting, I think, still, which is quite dated, but anyway, that as well. So which is unfortunate. And with that, I am going to end this episode. Thank you guys for listening in. It's from watching the Netflix show, and episodes of it. I think people of Cork and everywhere else in the world have kind of made clear what their thoughts of the show was, and their thoughts of the evidence and on Ian Bailey. I'm not gonna say my comments, but I do think people on Twitter have been pretty clear that they think Ian Bailey has murdered Sophie, and have called out the Gardaí quite a lot of times on Twitter about him. So it's clear that they do think he is the person. But it looks, in a way, the show kind of points it to him as like Ian did it, but we weren't there. And I think, to be fair, things went missing in the investigation. For example, the metal gate went missing. Yeah, the metal gate, which had Sophie's blood stained on the the gate, has gone missing in person of, and it was in Gertie's, but the Gertie had it, so I don't know how the hell they did that, but that's caused a bit of drama there. And along with that, the Gertie, the way they investigated it, obviously didn't work out, because one, the Gertie didn't have the facilities and equipment we have now. Secondly, they had to wait for a guard team to come from Dublin down to West Cork, and it took quite a long journey, because West Cork is ages away. It's nearly 5.5-6 hour drive from Dublin, especially where Schull is. So that, and I think really I don't know how to end this. It's just, it's been, I think a lot of people want the closure of this case, especially the family, but also the people of Schull, because they've been living 25 years of this, and I guess also with that, it's been hard on everyone. I'm not gonna say it's, anyway, look, that's it. I'm not good at this, especially this one, because I'm from Cork, and I've been to Schull, and initially I've thought about it, but I didn't think about the case when I was down there. It's a beautiful place, and I can see why people would go down there, and I could see why Sophie loved it as much, because it is such a stunning town with the sea, and especially on a beautiful day, it would be, may she rest in peace, and hopefully eventually they will figure something out about this case, and it would be closed with that. I'll see you guys all very soon. Thank you for listening. If you do want to listen to the other podcasts I have on the show, check them all out, and I'll see you guys all very soon.